we had inspections. I made, both of them made third class. And I had 10 or 12 sailors under me. I had the second compartment, second division. And we had a personal inspection. And I said to the guys, listen, no paintbrush, take the glove, put your hand in that white paint, and go up the nose, put it all, make sure they put their hands in there, they don't get no dirt, nothing. I cleaned that second division spotless. We had an inspection. We didn't pass. I got mad. I got mad. I said to the guys, listen, I don't care what you do the next week. Get lost, do whatever, I don't care what you do. Don't look for me. Don't even look for me. For the whole week, I didn't bother them. I didn't bother. Following week, I said to the fellows, take a wet mop and just mop the deck. Clean, mop the deck. We had an inspection. We passed. I didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. I said, see, this is the kind of officers we have.
Now, that ship is ours, and that's a Sumner class. Now, this is a Fletcher class. Now, this Fletcher class was the most widely built destroyer ever made. This is what she looks like. I was just given this, by the way, today.
Is this a ship you were on?
No, this is the Fletcher class. This is the one before us.
Oh, okay.
And this is a whole breakdown of what that ship looks like. Now, she was a little bit more narrower in the beam than we were, and she was smaller than we were. But this was the living space. This was the whole working space. And you got to know every single inch of this ship while you're running, because that was your home, you know.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it was you always felt that nothing could ever happen to you while you were running because it was your home. Yeah, and they were good ships. They called them the Greyhound of the Navy. They did every job that the Navy ever wanted them to do. At the beginning of the Second World War, we had very few ships. Carney built most of the Sumner class destroyers, like I was on. But Carney, New Jersey also built the Fletchers. Before that, when we went into the Second World War, they knew that something was coming. So they took these old four-stack destroyers. They were World War I destroyers. And what they did was they rearmed them. Put all the armament on it, all guns, everything else. Right? The problem was they made them top-heavy. They didn't realize this. So during there was a typhoon that hit, and what happened was Admiral Nimitz had, rather than leave the area, decided he was going to ride out the typhoon, because the Marines that were on the island would be left without them there, the ships. And what happened was we lost 4 of the destroyers actually sunk because of the typhoon. Yeah. And the ships were built. I always said it was a small ship, but when we put it in the yards and you went down below, when I went down, we had to check the induction system, which was a big valve at the bottom. And you didn't realize how deep she really was. I mean, you're looking from the bottom, down on the bottom, looking up like this. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship. Okay. But they served well. They protected the carriers. That was their primary focus. They were radar picket. They would line up and catch the kamikazes that were coming in and try and shoot them down from the early point. The most distinguished ship destroyer out there, trying to think of the name. My age is showing them. There was one ship that was attacked. We were attacked by 3. My ship was attacked by 3 kamikazes. This ship was actually attacked by 32 and survived. And she's a historical ship today. All right. I'll think of them.
Yeah.
At the same time, there were, set times that you would eat, and that would change. But food was very good. I have no problem with the food.
That's good. Did you reach like a certain rank? Like any like specific
Aviation electronics technician.
aviation or electronics? So I assume that's a pretty good rank, right? For like electronic.
It wasn't a very high rank. It was a very respected rank. Yeah. No one called me sir. I was an enlisted. I was an enlisted man.
You want to ask any questions?
Oh, yes, sir. Do you remember your first day of serving?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember your first days of serving?
Like your first day of service.
It was confusing because there's a lot of paperwork that you had to fill out. Really, I don't have any. It doesn't stick out to me. Other than the fact that it was confusing because you were in a new location and you had a lot of paperwork to fill out. You didn't know where you were going to go. It's a huge base. Protection River, Maryland was a huge military base. So you never knew what division you were going to put in. You wanted certain areas. You could request it, but you would never get it. They put you where they needed you. But I was extremely fortunate that the gentleman from Beechwood
Yeah.
was very, very accommodating. So it's who you know. So I got right into that flight test division, and it was the most fabulous, rewarding experience I could have.
And you can train it in a week. So he gets 2 puppies. And I had to go through the teething and the training and everything else. So, but you know what? They're his dogs. And he has fun with it. That's all that matters. But yeah, so, yeah, there's positives as well if you look at it. And I met a great group of guys that we still keep in contact with. I mean, when Sandy hit, the one guy you saw, Tim, he lives in Pennsylvania. I got a call from him and said, I can be here in 5 hours, what do you need? These are the type of friends that you have for a lifetime. And, if someone's having a problem, I'll call them. Or if some other vet's having a problem and one of them says, hey Nels, could you talk to this one on the phone? Yeah, I'll give him a call. Because sometimes only a vet can talk to a vet. And unfortunately, like in any war, you come home and there's 50,000 on the wall, there's a lot more casualties. There's people walking around with memories and things that they find very difficult to deal with. Their bodies whole, but they've been scarred badly. So when you think about that, there's a high price to pay before you go do something and commit troops. And it's a price that's paid a lifetime by those people. And society, because society, if you send them, you have an obligation to what? Take care of them, which is not always met. But there is that. I would assume that there's that obligation. So, go ahead, you got some more questions?
Yes, we're coming close to the end, so if you have more.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
What was your favorite part about your service?
Well, I have met some fantastic people. One of the things about being a draftee and about the draft, if you think about it, is it takes people from all walks of life and it throws them together, people I would have never met in my life. My best friend's a dairy farmer. Why would I even hang out with somebody who raised cows? I didn't know anything about raising cows. Another good friend was from the inner city of Detroit. Never would have met him.
Then like 4 years later, if a pilot came through, there was actually, they were giving them laser surgery because they didn't want them to have to wear glasses and things like that. So nowadays, when I left, it was still, they would, if your career field required you to have good vision and you didn't, they gave it to you. But I didn't think they were giving it to other career fields. Maybe now the surgery being much more commonplace, maybe that's something that they
He wasn't even like he was like lying on like some of the guys in like the infantry and stuff like
Same difference between East Germany and West Germany.
Well, it is so much easier with gas masks and everything to not have any glasses at all, because gas masks are terrible for, the glasses. With the air crew gas masks, actually, I could wear these glasses, normal glasses, and it actually was more of a hood that came on, and it sat underneath our helmet, and it was like a whole face piece, and then it had a separate part that you strapped into your helmet. But the gas mask that you would wear on the ground was that you pull over your head.
Excuse me, folks, about 10 minutes, then chow time, okay?
Okay, great,
Thanks.
thank you.
There's one other thing I wanted to point out.
So
while
when
we're there,
doing the
talking
exercises,
about
you had to pull it over,
education.
and your glasses were always in the way, and they had these hard plastic ones with an elastic strap. And they called them BC glasses, birth control glasses, because nobody wanted to wear them.
I owe you about
I find out the guy was teaching 8th grade down in South Carolina or Georgia or someplace. God, I came from New York. New York got a wonderful, at that time, had a wonderful education system. And that was atrocious. I couldn't believe it. Here's a guy teaching 8th grade, and he had to go back for 6th grade. It showed you the level of black education back there. And then I go on to get a guy from Michigan who was teaching sophomore high school, and he barely had an 8th grade level. So I said, well, maybe it's not all in the South, it just seemed to be nationwide at that time.
Any questions you have about the war itself?
That's the war itself. What do you think, like, the biggest difference from what you maybe expected and then going into the war and was not what you expected? Was there anything that really stood out to you that you just didn't expect at all?
Well, the Chinese coming across the border stood out like a sore thumb because we thought everything was over. That was in 1950.
Well, actually, I was around, like I said, near Panmunjom. So I saw all the celebrities coming in all the time, right? And when they were coming in, we had to protect them. So we were always on the ready, okay? Because negotiators were coming in, and there's an armistice being signed, okay? So it was very, very touch and go, because a lot of times, even when they're negotiating, the patrols will go out, and they will be fired upon. Now here you are, you're trying to settle the argument, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but the Korean, but yet, the China's are always probe. They're going to always probe, and they're always going to push you, and until the end result, okay? And we have to always be ready for them. And that's where the guns came in. Like I said, we could go 20 miles deep. And that stops them.
First, and then put it into action, where a lot of people, I think, they stress out, which skews their decision making and how they make decisions, which is not good for business, and it's not good in the military either, right? So I think that's really important, and that's a lot of the things that I've learned, being in stressful environments. And the other thing is, in my job right now, I just keep myself, nobody's dying in my job, right? The decisions that I make aren't life-threatening or going to impact somebody's life immediately. So we have time to make the right decisions where, and you can make mistakes, and that's something the military taught me too. You make mistakes, you train as you fight, and when you train, you expect to make mistakes so that you don't make those mistakes anymore, right? So repetition, rehearsal, doing things right the first time.
So I wasn't sure your position in Verizon, was it for in charge of a veteran?
Yeah, so I work in HR, and I run the military and military spouse, veteran and military spouse recruitment program. So my team, I have a team of each branch of service: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and a military spouse. And they're one's in California, Texas, DC. 3 are in our headquarters in Basking Ridge, to include myself, and we help service member transition and translate their resumes and try to find them employment opportunities, right? Because you get asked, well, how does an infantryman fit into Verizon? Well, going back to all those characteristic traits that I taught you that I learned, the leadership, the project management, all of that can be utilized. It's just a matter of the right person and the right job that they're going into. So that's part of our job.